Hey guys, how's it going? It is Saturday, July 1st, 2021. And just winding down basically all my activities. I gotta get a few things set up for my trip coming up later today. But just winding it down. Wanted to get I hadn't had an update to the channel for a while, so I thought, this would be a good time to do it. So this trip I'm really looking forward to. It's the only thing that's been on my mind now for a little while to say. I haven't even really been into doing too much else with my spare time, which is cool. Other than, just thinking of different ideas, thinking of different things that I want to accomplish in 2021, or at least the summer of 2021. It's hard to believe we're halfway through. So, as far as where I am with RTS, I have made some changes this spring. Some permanent changes. Well, I should say permanent. Nothing's permanent in life. But definitely some changes going on, and I thought that I should update. Of course, the biggest change right now for me and my community is the railroad transportation simulations. And I stress the word simulations because I wanted to have a community that was based and appreciative of all simulations, and not just one simulator. Will there ever be a railroad transportation simulator? I think so. I really do. I haven't given up on that. How I want to go about it, and it's up for debate. And having the motivation and then the energy level to do it. I can tell you right now, personally, I'm not one who likes to program. And I've always programmed in the past as a utility. So I had all the goods. All I had to do was write a little bit of code to make things really happen. Run 8 was a perfect example of that. The RTS beta, it was not easy to code it, but it was something that I had a goal in mind. I knew what I wanted to accomplish. I already knew what the background was going to be, so I was committed in doing it. And I never went outside of RTS Beta 2 for version 2, because really at that point, version 2, as I've said before, version 2 of Run 8 kind of made it obsolete, although it lost some of RTS's ability. So anyways, community's going pretty good here. If you haven't joined the community, it's an easy one to remember. Like some of my other forums, it's rts.freeforums.net. That will get you connected to me and our community. It is not that high as far as total members. We're only at 7 right now, but we're getting there. Hopefully more will join. There is discussions going on outside of me. They're talking about doing things in Run 8, which is, and honestly, it doesn't matter whether or not I'm associated with trains. I've given my thoughts on pretty much everything here in different threads. But when you first come onto this page, you only get the guest lounge. You have to become a member. I shouldn't say that. I believe you get to view everything else, and then the moderator board. I don't have any moderators yet. It's just me. So that's something I'm quite capable of moderating myself. I read all the messages to make sure everything's hunky-dory, and it's not that active at the moment. But it has been growing. The more I mention it, the more I, say, if you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about, I don't care. I'm the type of person who believes in conversations. I believe in if you want to go out and question something, or if you want to question, or if you want to basically go in and go through and guess what the next version's going to be, or even without any information. For example, Renegade's a perfect example. I haven't done this on this forum yet, but if anybody wants to speculate on what's going to happen in version 3, by all means speculate. I'm not going to stop speculation. I'm not going to damper it. I'm not going to moderate it. I don't believe in moderation. I really don't. And I'm not saying that I won't moderate. I have, over the years, I have banned people from my YouTube. I've done all kinds of things that I've had to do because of just people being a PITA, and they just kept trolling and kept, their whole point was to just cause crap. And they weren't part of the community. They were just trying to destroy it. So I said, enough of this, goodbye. And, I don't mind having conversations, but or defending myself. It didn't matter how I defended myself. So anyways, I don't want the drama. I don't care about the drama. All these train simulators, including others that I haven't listed here. I haven't listed every one of them. As you can see, I've focused on the ones that I know about. If you want to talk about others, you can go into here, and if you want your own board for your favorite train simulator, by all means, let me know, and I have no reasons why I wouldn't add sections. This is going to only get bigger as more people find use to it. And if it doesn't, that's okay. This is my place to type out some novels and share my thoughts. I posted this morning basically on my trip. So this is the big trip, of course, that I'm heading out on today. And it is going to be about 44 hours total driving, 4,000. You can read the rest there, 4,116 kilometers. Probably be more than that. Should have got a drink of water before I started. But that's that's just the way things are, and it's going to be cool. As far as everything else with my channel, it is, it hasn't been as active as it once was, but it's not dead. I believe in making sure that people understand that the ideas that I have, just because I don't like programming doesn't mean I won't. So for me, I even looked at open rails lately. I took a look at it. For me personally, I didn't see it. Didn't, I mean, I saw some features like, the trees were blowing in the wind and all of this stuff. For me personally, it didn't really bring me towards it. I don't know what the features are that is any different than Microsoft Train Simulator. It's hard for me to find that. If you want to educate me on that, go to my forum and talk about it. By all means, go ahead and do that. You can also comment in the YouTube videos and the live streams as they go up. By all means. So yeah, this isn't going to be a long video, I don't think. I just want to go over some of the things. Although I should get a drink of water. That would be the best thing, or else I'm going to lose my voice in a minute, unfortunately. I should know better. Hold on a second. I wanted to change my summary video, and this is a typical live stream with me. Forgetting that I didn't get water, or moving around, having my kid come down, you name it. He'll get bored outside. He'll come down shortly. I told him I said stay up for a while, have some fun with your mom, while I get ready, and I have stuff to do. So, but got the second drone. This is obviously images from the first drone, but I originally got the drone because I was in, I don't know if everybody understands. The reason why I got that drone was because I wanted to get more accurate ideas of the topography of the railroad. I knew I had DEM and I knew I had all that other information. What I wasn't sure about was the elevation of some of the yards and stuff like that. Now, that's not the easiest thing to find out with a drone anyways. The drone's good when it tells you, within a meter how high and how low you are from the point where you launch, but other than that, it doesn't really tell you much. What it does do, though, is it gets you in at places that Google Earth can't, or the Google Mobile can't. So I found a lot of benefit towards that. And I've also simply enjoyed some of the scenic views that I've been able to take. This is a perfect example. Like having this view, and I've had other views that will randomly pop up as part of my screensaver shots. I had one that popped up the other day, and it's really cool having these screenshots that just populate your desktop. I have it at work. I have it here. I don't have it as fast as work because it slows me down with two monitors. But having those kind of things, and a scenic shot like this is my kind of thing. This is in downtown Welland, but around Christmas time, obviously, the old lift bridge. But it's not always based on railroads. I've always I wanted to have the forum based on railroads because I figured that's what my base is. But by no means are you restricted to only talk about railroads. And I wanted to be clear on that. When I go into the forum, for example, in the general section, you want to talk about other stuff, and this is the place you want to do it, and this is the community you want to do it with, by all means do it. I have no problem with that. So that's the big thing. I wanted to engage with the community. The other thing I want with the community is, what are they looking for in a simulator? It's not just about what I want in a simulator, it's what the community wants as well. And community, it's very, this is a very, simulations, especially train simulations, trains are so, you talk about American Truck Simulator, for example. Well, you got to build nice looking scenery, you have to have nice looking trucks and trailers, and you have to have a good playability. American Truck Simulator does that. I'm sure there's competition out there. I don't know of what competition, nor am I worried about it, because I think overall it's high above the rest as far as I know. Nor am I worried about getting anything else because I'm already invested in American Truck Simulator. Oh, that's what I forgot to do, is get Utah. Utah was on sale to the 8th. Ooh, do I want to get that? I haven't run it in a while, so maybe I'll just hold off on that for now. I just haven't. It goes in phases, and I mean I enjoy it, but then it kind of becomes repetitive, and then suddenly another program comes along that catches our eye, and we end up purchasing that and playing the hell out of that. I got I don't know what I got. I got like 49 hours in this one. RimWorld is the latest one. Has nothing to do with trains, transportation, or anything really. Just plain survival, and I enjoy that. So, like I said, it's not all about trains. But I always go back to that base because this trip, despite the fact that let's say the destination where I'm going is Fort Francis. That's something my son had picked out. He wanted to go to Rainy River, and then he did a little bit more research, and he said no. He says, it's on the Rainy River, don't go to Rainy River, go to Fort Francis. And I said, well, so and then he basically told me, well, what's up with Fort Francis? And he says that's where CN's trunk line comes from Chicago for the former IC. I said, okay. So that's where it connects into the CN's, or it starts. It comes up to Winnipeg, but there's also branches off to Thunder Bay and a few other places. But its main purpose is to come into to be the backbone line that heads towards Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is really where everything branches out at that point. Builds up into other trains. Edmonton's another big center. So, okay. So, yeah, I guess there's about 50 trains a day or something from what my son was saying. But we've had the ATCS, and that's I got to get this stuff going on my laptop shortly, so I can't be fooling around too much longer if I want to get out of here at a decent time. So I'm like, okay. Let's see if we can figure it out. I knew how many days I had off, and then, well, I hear voices. He got bored from outside. He's coming. I was trying to get this in before 10, before he came down. Not that I don't mind him being on, but I think he's coming down. Maybe he's not. No, surprise, surprise. Good. Told him to spend some time with his mom. But, so yeah, so Fort Francis, and it's totally this whole trip is based on the railroad, so that's why we took it. And I'm telling you right now, when we just do day trips in Niagara, ideas come up, and I guarantee you, when you're traveling for 44 hours and you're with your son for 10 days, you're going to bounce ideas off of each other. He's into trains right now because he likes building routes. He's not so much into running them. He's more on the creative side. I've been trying to take that creative side and try to direct it towards RTS, but it hasn't happened, and it's okay. I want him to be happy. I want him to create whatever he's happy doing. Which is, why, I'm not putting the pressure on him so much. I'm not trying to say you have to follow in your dad's footsteps or anything like that. That's why I was waiting to see if he was coming down. But yeah, I just want him, to be happy. And you take a look at all these locations. This one right here, 390 Elgin Street in Sudbury. There's a hotel there that overlooks a CP yard. I'm very familiar with this hotel. I've never stayed there. We've got ATS. There's ATS coverage of CP in this area. It's going to be cool. It's not the busiest place, and we're going to be hitting these places twice, with the exception of Ottawa over here. So, we get to see the traffic over here if we're stopping today, and we will be. There'll be places where we're just going to pull over and watch a train for an hour. It's like this first leg is 5 hours and 9 minutes. Once you get up here, I really don't care if I come into Ottawa at night. I've seen it. I don't. We're going to be on divided highway all the way up into Ottawa. So I'm not, other than coming off the road. So I'm not worried about the scenery so much. We're going to be traveling, 100 kilometers, 60 miles an hour, minimum. Some places 110. And this isn't so much about the scenery as it is getting there as quick as we can. The reason why we didn't go up this way is because today is Canada Day here in Canada. July 1st. I know the July 4th weekend is also approaching. I don't know who's taking what and when, because July 4th comes on a Friday, or sorry, on a Sunday. So I took a vacation day tomorrow because I wasn't coming back in for one day after Canada Day, and I always take vacation in and around Canada Day anyways, so Nothing to do with being patriotic or anything. I honestly I could care less. But so I am wearing a red shirt today. Whoopie doo. Um, you know, I'm not a patriotic person personally. I'm just, yeah, whatever. What am I happy to live in Canada to some degree? Yes. To other degrees, no. But there's not many other places around. I mean, United States has its benefits, but then it has its disadvantages as well, especially in the north. Um, would I love to be in Florida right now? Well, sort of, but then you got the temperature. So there's pros and cons of everything where you go. So, um, but it is definitely fun traveling up here. Other than in the bugs, which I haven't. I don't think I have any bug spray yet, so I don't know. I I may have to stop along the way for sure. I haven't. I don't have any. I think my son has some. Whatever. But like I said, these kind of trips they start bringing out a lot of ideas out of me. I know it is. It's happened every time. Even the smaller trips brings out when I've gone up to when I've gone up to Belleville. I know Belleville was very inspirational. Um, the more you get to see the railroads in different environments other than what Niagara is, you suddenly start thinking about things a little better. And I think about RTS all the time. So that that's something that I still think about all the time. It is probably the one passion that I haven't quite figured out where it's going. I have no idea. Some people have suggested in my community that when Run 8 version 3 comes out, I'm going to get it and that's going to be it. They might be right. I don't think they are. But then again, I don't know what Run 8 version 3. I can't even speculate what Run 8 version 3 is going to have because I really don't know. I don't know when it's coming. I don't know. So I'm not worried about it. I do not have. I don't run version 2 anymore. I haven't run it in about a year. So trains, I was getting on to different things, what I like and don't like, and some of my thoughts on everything. Although trains is something my son enjoys quite a bit, I got out of it. I found the main weakness, and it's a weakness that a lot of people don't talk about, and that is I like to build things up. I like to build things up slowly. I don't need to have all the eye candy right away. But what I like to do as I'm developing something is easily being able to operate it. So you take a typical model railroad, for example, and if you've had model railroads, or you have a decent size operational layout, or you belong to a club, what you end up having is you have a working layout that's operational, and you start it on maybe plywood, or you start it on baseboard, or whatever else you've got to get it going, because you want to operate. You got all this equipment that you want to operate. Okay, or maybe you don't and you want to get this equipment to operate on it. So I mean, model railroading is an expensive hobby. I'm glad I'm not part of model railroading any longer, to be quite honest. That's why I got into virtual. The problem with virtual is there's nothing. This is the closest thing that I ever came to be like a model railroad. Although I know there's model railroad simulators, it's a lot different. A model railroad is very, very visual and artistic. But at the same time, it limits scale. You're scaling everything down. Trains, when I originally purchased it about 10 years ago, and this is my second version, 2019. When I originally purchased it, and I mentioned this in this forum here, in my post, when I originally purchased it, it was more like a model railroad simulator to me. And for me, that that wasn't exactly what I had in mind. Um, it didn't. I missed the 1-to-1, and you could do 1-to-1, but it wasn't that strong. Now it's much stronger. In 2019, and I guess 2020 is here or on the way or something. I really don't know. I haven't followed it enough. I don't care. I'm not interested in the latest version. Um, that's you know the idea of having building up and slowly building up. I love the idea of the route development, and I was doing it. I was able to do it. I was able to achieve quite a bit. The problem was I came to a point where I had built it flat, and I was building it pretty accurately, I must say. And then suddenly I got Transdem. For a lot of people, Transdem is a must. For me, it was a bust. It started out good, but then I, I ended up getting it, and it was just a bust. It was great for everything a lot of the time, but when it comes to the railroad itself, it's not accurate enough to represent the grades. And I ended up having roller coaster lines, and I had to figure out. And they always said, well, you got to be careful, because you commit to that, you ruin everything else around it and all this other stuff. And I didn't want to do that. And that was the dilemmas I was starting to get in, because I had stopped. I had stopped developing so much because I was trying to figure out what the grades were. I didn't have an accurate grade. I didn't have any grade chart for CN. I had to, and this is a lot of the reason why I had the drone, was to go over and try to figure out. And I'll tell you straight out, I walk the lines. I don't purposely trespass on railroad property, but for all these, virtue signaling people who are in the train, say, "Oh, you're trespasser, you're trespassing." Listen, people who go out there to damage property or climb up signal towers and all that other crap, that's just stupid. Walking a line, if you're familiar enough with the trains and you keep your ears and eyes open, I think is perfectly fine. Yes, you are trespassing. So are all the birds and other things and people walking across the tracks to instead of taking a bridge. I see all kinds of trespassing. Do they go after everybody? No. I've walked between cities on major main lines as when I was younger, and it wasn't a big deal. Trains would honk, give me a salute as I got out of the way, and I'd give them a wave, and they knew I was, I don't know if they knew I was a rail fan, but they must have known. And I'll carry a scanner with me just to find out what's going on. Of course, I risk the danger of a foreman coming up or anything like that, but I risk all kinds of things. I don't do it that often, nor do I encourage it. But for me, it allowed me to see the grade profile. So I would do it in certain areas. And I don't recommend you do it. I'm not encouraging you to do it. But for me personally, that was one of the ways I could do it. The problem is, try to do that in the yard, you're asking for trouble. And I started in Port Robinson, and you're just like, I'm not walking anywhere near this line. There's too many cameras. There's too much stuff going on. I'm not risking it. And since they put the cameras up about 10 years ago, it's just like, no, I ain't doing it. So I've never done it. And back in the day, I used to travel down their roads. I would travel down the railroads with my bike. Nobody bothered you. Crews would see you. They realized who you were. As far as You know, were you paying attention to what was going on and stuff like that? And yeah, you know, when you're younger, then they get more concerned because they want you playing around the tracks, which, you know, I've never played around the tracks, but anyways, I'm getting really sidetracked on that. How did I get on that topic? But anyways, the problem was trying to find the grade didn't work. So I know I want to build from the ground up. If I'm going to do a simulator, I want to build from the ground up and be able to slowly add scenery. And trains, you can slowly add scenery. The problem is you need to have the base if you're going to run it and operate it. Otherwise, you basically have to start from scratch, which is okay. It's not the end of the world. I just don't want to do it. I want to, you know, if I want to have an operation, I have so many miles of line and yards and all this other stuff. I don't want to have to start over from scratch. It's not that big in Niagara, but you know, other places, if I was to do other places, busier places, and try that, or expand it, it gets tougher the bigger it gets. So, like I said, I talked about Microsoft Train Simulator Open Rails. It's not happening. I don't see it. If there's somebody in the Open Rails community that convinced me otherwise, I welcome them to do so, and somebody was trying to. But I hadn't heard any more. Run 8 I already talked about. I've talked about that constantly. There's nothing going on. And if you enjoy Run 8 in its current form, great. I got bored of it. I just got burnt out. There's not enough, you know, active community in Run 8, in my opinion. There's communities in some of the bigger servers, but if you take a look at the number of servers, and I know there's private servers that are unadvertised. I actually was a member of one of those such servers that are quote-unquote unadvertised or not on Run 8's forum. There are other forums that it's difficult to find servers, and you can run with between friends. You can set up different boundaries. You can do all kinds of things, but it's just it wasn't the same. When you have a taste of what it's like to be on an active server, and you know you're not modeling too much of an area because you can't, because those areas don't exist yet. Run 8 is awesome. Run 8 was great when version 2 first came out and things were going, and it was such a difference between version 1. Version 1 was awesome. Version 2, I would never go back to version 1 after version 2. But once you had version 2, it was just like, oh, it's awesome. I don't expect the same with version 3. There's nothing about version 3 that has me excited. The only thing I've heard about version 3 is I think turntables, movable bridges, and transfer tables. If there are other things that I'm missing, maybe there's something I'm missing in that list other than a new game engine. I have no idea. Not interested. Yeah, here comes trouble now. I can hear him. I hear trouble. What are you doing?
Nothing much. Coming down now.
Were you bored?
No.
No. Did you close the door?
Yes, I did.
Solid?
Yeah.
So it doesn't let all in? Okay. Freaking icebox. I'm just finishing off a live stream.
Okay.
But anyways, there's not much more to talk about that. So that's just the other things, and there's other ones out there too. But yeah, RTS will be fine. I've talked about the trip too. So that's all ready to go. Are you excited, Emmett?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. We come up with a lot of good ideas with RTS, don't we? On these trips usually.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Next
why.
time we get back, our minds will be teething with ideas.
Well, yeah. Well, you'll have ideas what to do with trains. I'll have ideas what to do with RTS. So.
Yeah.
But I got work to do, because I got lots of work to do to get ready. I gotta change laundry, and then so we ain't leaving for another hour and a half at least. At least, maybe closer to noon.
I'll try to help out.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I gotta do a little bit on the computer and stuff like that, but yeah, anyways. But that's it about now. I gotta get back to work. So that's where we stand for the summer of 2021. Not too much update other than the forums, and I don't know why this thing is. Hopefully the internet. Well, you came down. You came walking down, so sometimes that interrupts it. Oh, for crying out loud. Anyways, I'll stop it now. Talk to you later. See ya. Go get it.